Chap Chapter 1. The magic amulet must be found before the birds sing dawn's sweet sound. Once upon a time, in a dark, gloomy night, one little princess walked through a dark, gloomy cave. Chapter 2. The amulet was hidden deep within, away from the kingdom's chaotic din. The little girl wasn't just a princess. She was the princess, and she sought treasure, the treasure. In the dreams. The sting of defeat does not bite when you possess endless might. The princess hated being small, delicate. She dreamt of being a giant with skin as thick as steel. But dreams are not always as distant as they seem. Chapter 3. The immortal prince learned of the princess's quest, and he raced to find who'd flown the nest. Another hero of our story was the prince. As soon as he heard that a princess from the neighboring kingdom was lost in a dungeon, he hurriedly went to trace her footsteps. Princes are born to rescue princesses. That's just how it works. In the dreams. The seconds trickle by like sand, but sometimes one can stay time's hand. Time pulls us along like a mighty river, and all we can do is watch the banks go by. If only we had a moment to plan our course. Chapter 4. In the murk, dangers waited with a thirst for blood that could not be sated. The journey of life is full of hurdles to overcome. It often pays to take your time and look before you jump. Chapter 5. You wouldn't see a fox, a bird, a hare, as darkness brought a ghostly nightmare. Grandpa used to tell the princess not to be afraid of misfortune. Without it, there is no success and all is gray. He had lived a rich, exciting life, a short one though. Chapter 6. The prince searched, but was it just fate? There was no entrance that he could locate. An old goblin proverb goes, "Keep your gear close and friends who like it much farther away." In his search, the prince immortal moved farther and farther from home. Chapter 7. Take note when red eyes glow. Seek cover and don't be slow. One who has never descended can never rise. So Grandpa had said when he descended into the Goblin King's lair. Unfortunately, they were his last words. Chapter 8. There must be a sign, a hint, a trace of the princess in this cursed place. In war, many face their fears by shouting loudly and rushing forward. It's always a good idea to at least pretend that you're running the right way. Chapter 9. It may be a hassle, but you will find that it always pays to be kind. The little princess continued on, flitting as fast as an arrow. Well, not quite as fast, nor as true. Chapter 10. Time flies, so they say, but pause to keep these arrows at bay. So often we don't have enough time, but you can always go where you please. One step back, you can. Take two if you like, but you must keep moving forward. Chapter 11. Find two and you will see not every lock needs just one key. Falling happens, Grandpa used to say. The trick is to change your perspective so that things don't look so grim from the new angle. Chapter 12. It seemed the prince had gone wrong. He was somewhere where he didn't belong. Try as he might, the immortal prince couldn't find the entrance to the accursed dungeon, but he was headstrong. He knew that sometimes you just have to push on blindly and hold belief close. Chapter 13. Deeper the princess kept descending, and wondered if it were never ending. Grandpa always used to say that the deeper down you go, the more goblins you'll find and the more fun you'll have. Surrounded by fairy explosions, the little princess questioned Grandpa's definition of fun. Chapter 14. You can never have too many keys, especially in times like these. It's so tiring searching for these keys, the little princess thought. If only I could find many at once. Abracadabra! Alakazam! Chapter 15. If you hear a blood-curdling howl, then know there's something on the prowl. Somehow, the little princess knew she was getting close. Her breath caught in her throat, her mind focused. Time seemed to stop, waiting, watching. Chapter 16. The immortals don't fear the deepest caves, even those behind the waves. Although the water didn't threaten the immortal prince, he hated soggy clothes. But there was no choice. He plunged onwards. Chapter 17. At last! The magical amulet was found. But would it offer power unbound? The little princess had never quite trusted Grandpa's stories. As wonderful as they were, perhaps the magic amulet wouldn't do what he'd said it would. No, she thought, I must believe him, like he believed in me. Chapter 18. Cold, exhausted, dripping wet, the prince started to feel like he'd lost a bet. Sometimes you need a friend to give you a helping hand. Other times, reaching new heights requires stepping on others. The prince had never worried too much about who he trod on the way to the top. Chapter 19. It's not always wise to stand and fight. Sometimes it's best to stay out of sight. The world can be a harsh, judgmental place. At some point, everyone wishes they could just hide away and watch others go about their business. Chapter 20. Dawn is coming, the princess felt, and then the darkness will stutter and melt. Not every princess will live until the dawn in a dark forest, but the little princess wasn't just any princess, and time had always marched to her tune in certain places. Chapter 21. The princess now had revenge on her lips. Little no more, the balance tips. With the magical amulet, the princess could find hidden spell scrolls. But who could have left them, and why? Chapter 22. The giant forest loomed dark and austere, giving the bravest cause for fear. The princess found that she forgot spells each time she passed through a portal. She wished she could forget unpleasant memories so easily. But then, as Grandpa had always said, bad memories make great stories. Chapter 23. The prince could only lumber around, but maybe the hammer could be used on the ground. Back beneath the sky, the immortal prince encountered a horde of panicked goblins. I should appease them, he thought, in a show of charity. Chapter 24. Look to your hair. It is your friend. When one spell